doing?
Hey. Sorry, I can't stop laughing because I would just, we just popped on. We weren't early today, right? And I was already talking about. I said, "Didn't I put my lipstick on? Did I have a stroke? That looks crooked."
And then there's the delay. There's the like click the button and there's a come on, go live.
It's one of those days. Did you see? I guess you probably haven't seen on my Instagram story. I came across. I like Upworthy. I don't know if you ever look at it, but I came across, and that's what I feel like. That he's going down the beach and he just flops. It's kind of like when you're like the little train, in the story. I think I can, and then you just go, "Nah, I can't."
Slide back. Yeah, I can't remember how you worded it or how it was worded. Yeah. It was
it's funny because I'm kind of going, "Oh, what did I do last night? Because why do I feel kind of sluggish?" And you know what? Because I every day since I've been doing with the naturopath said, and we're doing all this exciting stuff with Mastermind City, I've been very focused and motivated and ready to get up. And I've had a million things coming my way, but I didn't care. And then today I was like, why do I feel like a slug? And I think it's because I didn't do well last night. I was really busy and I was a little bit stressed, and I ate something I shouldn't have ate. Oh. And so I think it actually did affect me.
Makes a difference.
So there you go. It's the truth. Like things can.
What yummy thing did you have?
My favorite stress reliever, which is potato chips.
Oh, so close.
So I'm not supposed to have potatoes, right? And I had other chips, but I was just, what's your stress food? Mine's potato chips. If I'm stressed or I'm worried, I just need chips. I need crunchy stuff.
Yeah, I'm a salty person. But if I'm really stressed, like then I toggle between literally in the same meal, sour cream and onion chips and chocolate. Because chocolate makes me crave sour cream and onion chips. Sour cream and onion chips make me crave, so I eat them together.
It's awesome. So it's pretty funny, but I don't mind when because again, you recognize that yeah, it's right. I shouldn't be eating these, not because it's got nothing to do with weight or anything, guys. Right? It's got nothing to do with that. It has to do with how your body feels when you have certain foods. So anyway,
I just feel good after. That's the ironic part about comfort food, because it's not like it feels good like for 5 seconds
in the moment,
and then afterwards you're like, oh, that was a big mistake.
You see, I could argue, given my Buddhist studies, about being present and living in the moment, being present in the moment. So I was present as I ate those potato chips.
But that's good.
Yeah, but afterwards.
Oh yeah, but then you're not present anymore. It's okay.
Anyway, so how are you?
Well, I'm back. I feel like you either see me in Halifax, my house, or the farm, which is where you are. Yes, those are 3 places. I'm like, you can tell by the background. Like I have this, like the same. I toggle between 3. I can always tell when I look back, because yesterday I actually went back and was looking at some of our past videos and stuff just to see what I could pull. And I was like, oh, I know where I was then. I know where I was then. And I know, like, I can almost remember what we talked about based on location.
And it's funny because, I can, you do the same thing. I can work anywhere in the world because that's all I've ever done. I've always worked out of hotel rooms, even when I was in corporate. I can work on a hotel bed. I can work in the airport like you were yesterday. I can do anywhere, but there are places like when I'm here in our studio at the farm, I work the best.
Yeah.
That's my favorite place to work.
Well, I didn't work great. So to make a very long day, very, very long story, very short, when you get into a comedy of errors and like, no matter what you do, you're like 5 steps forward, like, whatever, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's how I felt when I flew. So I flew home on Monday.
Yeah.
And it started with, I like landed at the airport, no problem. I'm putting my do not disturb on for a second. Hang on. There we go. Because my phone's beeping. So I land at the airport and I go through security. No line at security. I'm like, this is going to be great. First mistake.
Yeah.
Never think it's going to go well.
No, never say something like that.
I was the stupidest thing. So I go through put things in bins, and I realized I forgot my watch. So I put my watch in a bin with my bag and my jacket. Other bins go through. My laptop gets flagged. That's never happened, but whatever. That goes in a separate section. So I go through the scanner, and my shirt has a problem. So I have to take my shirt off. Thank goodness I'm not
just. Were you wearing like rhinestone cowboy shirt or something?
I was wearing a flannel shirt. Thank goodness I'm wearing a tank top under it. Yeah. Because I had to take my shirt off. Wow. So they had to reach to my shirt, whatever, no issue. I get to go pick up my stuff, and I pick up my bag and my jacket, and I'm just about to reach for my watch when the guy takes the bin. And he puts it in the other bins, and I'm like, wait, just stop the presses.
Yeah, that's so not a watch. That's an Apple Watch, you fool.
So it's like multiple bins down. So they get that. I have to wait in line. I have to get that. Then I go upstairs to wait for the plane. And then it's very foggy. It's foggy in Halifax. So the plane was actually 5 hours delayed. However, when you have a laptop and an internet connection, and someone who's willing to FaceTime you at the airport.
You said you were stuck at the airport, so I immediately called.
I was like, oh, what things to do? So no, it was fine because I was planning on flying in the morning and working in the afternoon. I flipped it. I was able to work at the airport. But what I found really interesting was when something like this happens, it's the sense of almost community, like a whole bunch of people who never talked. And you don't typically talk to people when you're in the departure lounge because people are sitting on their phones or they're on their computers or they're listening to their music or whatever. They're very focused on get me on the plane and get me off the plane. So all of a sudden we're all like, we're supposed to be boarding right now. And we're all talking, and then they make the announcement. It's going to be late. It's going to be late. And then finally they made the big announcement that it was going to be a few hours delayed. But I think that was the most interesting because all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, this girl has a meeting in Toronto at 12:30. Well, clearly not making that because the plane's not leaving until 1:30. Not making that meeting. This person. So all of a sudden you start to hear about like their stories. What do they do? This one woman had never flown before, right? This was her first trip on an airplane.
So initiation.
Right? That's how I kind of felt. I was like, oh, sorry, this is your first experience. It usually doesn't go like this. One guy was telling stories about when he flew, because he flew mainly around the Maritimes. So like he had some funny stories and, I popped in with, a couple of mine. So it was just like, there's probably like 5 or 6 of us kind of chatting and stuff like that. And what was really cool was, again, the long delay, and that was fine. And then they kept delaying it again. And then, we tried to get on the plane, and then there was a problem with the staircase. So the guy's trying to fix it. So we're like standing in line again. Like it was just like a comedy of errors. Like we just really just get us on the plane. Yeah. We just want to go home. And, but afterwards, like we sort of all went our separate ways. Obviously I was talking to you and I was working I found a place to work, which was great. And then when we all kind of came back to the departure lounge, it was like, oh, so like, what did you do for the past couple of hours? Like, it was like we knew them.
Yeah, it's great. I mean,
it's kind of interesting with that situation.
It is. And I think it happens a lot when you're delayed and like you're stuck in wherever the lounge. I traveled a lot. So that happened to me all the time. And some of the delays were a lot longer than just 5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? So you start to, it's kind of community. And then all of a sudden you get off the plane and you're gone.
Yeah. It's like that short term. But I thought what was interesting was, like I said, when we all came back, it was like, we were long lost friends that and I'd only met them 2 hours ago. So it was just interesting.
Well, that's why, it's, and we can talk about what we're doing too, which is a great segue, even though you didn't mean it. But we were, what's been happening in the marketplace. And then for those of you who are looking for trends in that, there's 2 things that are happening. One is brands are becoming more community focused in terms of you're more interested in being part of that brand and being part of that group than just like the logo, or you think it's a cool product, right? So you do so brands are looking at how do we get these people together? How do we start communicating? Because they do have the same interest, even if it's like us, like a love of the mothership, like love of Apple or something, but how do you get these people together, right? So that's number 1. That's really happening. And then number 2 is people are looking for that connection and community. So even though, people were at home and, you know, trying to do the Zoom or trying to do everything. At that time, no one really understood it. So not for us, we are online, we understand that world, but people that were coming in who are just using Zoom for the meetings, they didn't really get it. You know what I mean? And now they understand how to interact online and they understand all the technology. So people are looking to go back to that. They want to start now speaking with other people and talking to community and how we can together, you know, work together to do something that will propel us forward. Whether it's, see, there's my now there's mine going off, and since I can't really see,
we don't know who that was.
So yeah, so it's interesting because we see that trend and everyone's been coming to us. We've had community, right? And we've had communities for a long time. We have our students, we have our clients, but now they ramped up, right? They're all going, come on, we need something that's a step above, that we want to go somewhere that we can go on a daily basis and know we're going to get motivated and know we're going to get help our business, or just talk to somebody while we're sitting in a lounge somewhere, right? who is still related to us, like, you know what I mean? Like in the same group or something, but we can talk about it and make fun of it and kind of laugh, right?
It's that common thread that I feel like that's almost what's missing out of social media.
Yeah.
Before we get into sort of what we're doing, I just want to segue slightly because it's interesting how, again, that push towards community is so, you know, again, that common thread. I want to propel my business forward. I'm the same type of business that you are. We want to, you know, accomplish a similar goal. So they have that sort of common thread.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is because social media was supposed to be that.
Yeah.
It was. And it was. And when, you know, Facebook first started or Instagram was going, even, you know, they're actually comparing and they're actually taking the algorithm of TikTok and applying it to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter because it's now interest based. Right. So, which it was, and that's what it was supposed to be. So if I like these types of pages, show me more of this type of content. And that's exactly what TikTok's doing. But it's interesting because I think I was talking to you yesterday and I said, like, it's a fascinating move that social media platforms are taking, that their profiles, Facebook profile, Instagram specifically, and they're calling them Insta sites.
Right.
Because now they're realizing that social media is now a place where people are doing research and they're going and they're finding things under specific topics or interests. And they're going to the profiles, not expecting what are they posting and stuff like that. They actually want to see specific things about their business. And does this make sense? So they're almost, brands are doing that because their stories and their reels and all of that kind of stuff are more engaging because they want to build community. So it's all coming, it's all moving in that direction.
Yeah. Well, you see it when they started being able to pin their posts, right? When you started being able to pin your post to your story, because the truth is nobody's really looking at your posts anymore. They're really mostly looking at your stories and reels. So, which I am, obviously. And it's interest based and it's entertaining. And, you know, I'm going to plug my favorite, which is YouTube. I'm going to plug my favorite channel. Sorry, everybody else. But the one thing is YouTube started as an interest entertainment base. Still are there. And guess what? Everyone's coming to the fold. So regardless if you're a fan or not, they've stuck to what they do. They put in shorts to, you know, compensate for people's lack of attention span, which is a problem in today's society. But it is true. I mean, everyone's moving towards that. And you're right. Like Facebook, when it first started, it was like, hey, catch up with your old friends. But now the reason I abandoned it quite a long time ago now, and I still am on it. But why am I on it? To promote things, right?
Yeah,
I'm on it to push our stuff. And I'm on it when I want to, like, happy birthday to my kid. But I still do it on Instagram because my kid will never see it on Facebook because they put on it, right?
Yeah.
But that's why we go back to, I think I'd like to go back to the fact that, you know, we both still do Be Real, which we each have 5 friends.
I have 4. You have 3. You have 5. You have 1 extra.
Okay, so but here's the interesting
numbers
thing.
matter. More is better.
but there's no pressure on it. And that is, I hate to say it, but like there's nothing to it. It's just, what are you doing in that moment? That is really what social media started as, which was a way to connect with your friends. And it's kind of interesting because there is like you don't care what you look like. True on Be Real, right? You don't care what the picture looks like.
Perfect shot.
Yeah, and it's just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing right now, which is interesting to me because I don't feel like that when I'm on Facebook. I just feel like it's like bombarding me with stuff, and I don't like that anymore. So the Insta pages on Instagram, I love that concept. I love the fact that we can pin basically our whole website.
Well, and that's what the whole point is. It almost mimics the information that's on your website. So they don't really have to go to your website to see all the different things that's going on in your business, but you're not really posting your stories because stories can be very engaging and get them involved. Whereas a post, it's like and comment. And I'm fascinated the move away from that piece.
I love it. I actually love it. I like the fact that, you know, people are starting to not feel as obligated, right? And the fact is using your social media, because I think the biggest thing that challenge we had with a lot of our students and clients is that they would say the same thing. I really don't like to post every day. And even though we know how important it is to get that whole viral piece going and being able to, you know, show up in feeds, now that gives them an option to say, you know what, post 5 good things.
Yeah.
Right. And then go ahead and do what you can at the other time. At least people will know what you're doing. Yeah. But what's interesting, and I'm going to give another shout out back to the kids. What do our kids do on Instagram? They have like 5 pinned pictures. That's it.
Well, and we used to make fun of them.
Yeah.
Like, why are you deleting posts?
Yeah.
Why don't you just keep them as, you know, some sort of historical reference kind of thing? And they're like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, it's not. And now we're like, well, actually, I'd probably put like the top 15 as my Insta site and, you know, pin that stuff that mimics. So here we are listening and following what they've been doing all along.
Yeah, like they're told us to go on Be Real. We're on Be Real. You know what I mean? It's fascinating. My other kid who's like, you know, a YouTube guru, has never done any other social media other than YouTube and Twitter. Those are the 2 that he does.
Right. Where'd you go? Uh-oh, she's gone. And I'm sure there was something really good there. I can't hear you. Uh-oh. I'm sure she's saying something really good. She's completely frozen and I can't hear her voice. So if she can hear me, we're just, you know, going to go with what happened. All right, hang on. We'll see if she comes back. Maybe her internet's going to kick back in. I feel like there was like a really good point there that she was going to make about her other kid being on YouTube and Twitter. See, I was paying attention and she looks very insightful and she's going to make a really good point. So let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to see if I can work some settings here. One moment, please. This is what happens when you're live and things happen. You have to kind of roll with it, and she's gone. So now you have me. And now she's going to leave, hopefully, and come back. Yeah, so it's just to kind of bring this full circle. It's just interesting how social media was one way back in the day when it first started, and then we got into, you know, having to have the perfect posts, polished images, all of that kind of stuff, and then now her son was just on YouTube and Twitter only. And I felt like you were going to say something really, really insightful after that. And she's still frozen. Okay, so close. She's trying to figure out what's going on with her internet, I think, is probably what's going on. If you're, you know, she's leaving, she's coming. We're not really sure what's going on, but I'm just going to continue to talk. You can come and go. So like I was saying, the switch from, social media, was supposed to be, what are you doing in the moment? When Facebook first started, it's, what are you doing? Or, I remember, I think they gave you like kind of a phrase that you could kind of say, Stacy is, what are you doing right now? Or how are you feeling right now? Or what are you doing in the moment? Like, I can't remember what that phrase was that you would then go, because I remember going, I am, hanging out with my family or whatever the case may be. And then it was text based. And then we moved into, very polished, very branded images that people were posting. And I know when I do, I think it's my video training, I end up like showcasing like how polished some of these pages are and how polished these images, and you can really look incredible on social media. But when it comes to what you're saying, the video that you're doing or anything like that, all of a sudden it's, this isn't the same person, because you can hire a graphic designer and they can make you look amazing. But as soon as you're on video, your true self really shows through. So I feel like that's been the trend. We are definitely moving towards, back in the day, social media, having the posts there and then not. So we're going to hope that, Faye, you're back.
I'm back.
What happened? You were gone and you were about to say something very insightful.
I know. And you know what? I don't remember what it was, but I don't know. I have no idea. I just actually texted you because I'm like, are you still on? Because
still on. I am still on. I've been talking without you and I'm good.
So you're like, yay, the stage is mine.
I was going to block you, but I thought that'd be mean.
Nice.
So anyway, we only have a couple minutes left. So okay. I really want to dive into, as Faye alluded to earlier, the whole concept of the community at the airport, that like thread of commonality that you go through, social media trends really pulling through, going back to, the feed that would be, sort of that Insta site where you go to someone's page and learn all about them. Be real. All of that is coming back to building community.
Right.
So drum roll.
So we, for those of you who, we run masterminds, we run communities, we run training, we have networking groups, and we also obviously have our corporate clients. So let's put the corporate clients aside for a second, although they will be involved. So we, it was just like, there's all these spokes going at the same time and everybody wants to be in all of them. And we were like, giving this offer here and these people can join here. And it was like, wait a minute. Why are we complicating things for people? Why don't we just make it simple? Why don't we set up a professional community that involves professional networking, that involves masterminds, business training, all in one with one price and no special, like, oh, join this for $50 and join this for $300. Like, none of that. So really, essentially, what do we know success? Success comes from all our experience. It comes from having relationships, a professional community, and being involved in masterminds. That's really it, because that's what can propel, because you learn in your mastermind and your community helps you launch, helps you build your business, helps you get referrals. So we put it all together. And we've created what we have, which we've always had, which is the network. And we created the network so that you can get everything all in one. So not only do you join, if you're interested just in meeting professional relationships, awesome. But we also have 4 masterminds going throughout the year, and all of them uniquely tailored to what your business needs, whether you're a startup, whether you have to gain visibility, whether, one of our masterminds, which is very unique, is literally going to teach everyone how to actually network, how to really.
So many people don't know that.
Don't know how. So, and it's all included. Plus, we're going to be doing a monthly master training, which means we're going to take the latest trends, just like kind of what we do in Hot Topics, but we're going to expand them and tell you how to be able to do them. We're going to have a book club that's all inclusive as well, that we will not only, it's not a book club like, hey, go read this. It's a book club that you come back and we actually implement a full workshop of how to actually implement those learnings into your business. But on top of that, which is kind of exciting, is we'll be doing clubhouses. So clubhouses are live events, and they'll be in your community. So each of our clubhouse directors will be able to do regular once a month, monthly breakfast meetings, so you can actually interact. And then
in person.
Yeah, in person. And they'll have other ones. And here's the cool part. You can go to anyone's clubhouse. So if you happen to be in, Montreal, you look up and see if there's a clubhouse there and you go, hey, they have an event. I'm going to go check it out. If we have one in Colorado, same thing. So we're going to do, clubhouse, we've already got 8 in play, and we're just announcing. So if you're interested in running a clubhouse, let us know. But we're really, really excited. And then there's going to be lots of special pop-up training, and we have a fabulous new app that is specifically tailored to the network. So you don't have to go anywhere else. You'll have masterminds, you'll have professional networking, you'll have trend, master at training, everything you can think of. Did I miss anything?
Oh my goodness, I don't think so. So the app is going to mimic the online community. There is also going on top of the in-person networking sort of clubhouses. That's the in-person. We're also going to be keeping the online networking piece so that you can network with all of the people from all over the world. And it is going to be a global, and then the community is going to be on the app. So what event do you have? And all it is going to be by geolocation. So if you want to say you were in France and you go, oh, what's going on there? You will literally be able to go into your map and see like who's there, who could you meet up with. That's also part of the network.
And message them right there from
right in the app.
Oh, Stacy's in Halifax. Let me click and message her and see if she wants to connect for coffee.
Like I would have loved that when I was sitting at the airport for 5 hours. I could have connected with someone saying, hey, are you close to the airport?
Exactly.
You have a few hours. I'd love to have lunch and get to know you a little bit better. So the online piece, the app, in person, which is really needed, especially after COVID. So we're really excited about all we've built. So take a look. The site is right there. So it's themastermind.city/the-network. All right. And we will see you next week.